Hello there, it's Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to my paper crafting YouTube channel. Today we're going to be making some fun Halloween backgrounds. They're super easy to make with a little ink blending, and I get to play with some brand new dies from the Spellbinder shop. They are the Boo Crew and Bewitched dies from the Simon Hurley collection. Super cute. If you like cutesy Halloween, which I do, these are really fun dies. So I'm going to be using these on my cards today on some really fun Halloween backgrounds, and I'm going to add a little glow-in-the-dark embellishment to each of these, and I think that's just a really fun way to like amp up a Halloween card, or any card really, and they're both going to be shaker cards as well. So we're going to start out with the background. So for the first one, I have a 4" by 5 1/4" panel of white cardstock. I am using the Distress Oxide inks in Villainous Potion, Carved Pumpkin, and Saltwater Taffy. So I'm doing that Villainous Potion first, and I'm using a Blending Buddy brush and just bringing that up from the bottom. So the bottom is going to be the darkest, and then you can see it kind of fades out as I go. When I do this, I have a little bit of excess ink on my mat, and I just got to the point where I can't stand wasting that ink. Sometimes I have to use it. So I just spritzed it and picked it up with a scrap piece of cardstock. And then I'll have something I can use later, which I actually end up using in this video. So you'll see how I did that shortly. Next, I flipped the cardstock, and from the other end, I'm bringing in that carved pumpkin. You can see I'm just using that brush to swirl that ink onto the paper. That excess ink I'm picking up with the same exact piece of scrap cardstock. I kind of don't care what it looks like. I don't have a project in mind, so it's just fun to like pick it up, see what it becomes, and maybe figure out later what I'll do with it. Now, in the center is where I'm adding that saltwater taffy. I feel like this corally color is the perfect color to bring the purple and the orange together, and it kind of gives me that sky feeling, that sunset sky with the Halloween vibe. And so what I do is I'm trying to get the solid color there in that center of my paper before I start blending. Then I blend it into the purple. I might get a little bit of the purple on my brush, so I just used a paper towel to kind of buff that off, and then I've got a cleaner brush that so it's not contaminated with the purple, and I'm not going to get that into the orange section. So there it is. I have a tiny bit of that saltwater taffy there, picking it up with that same piece of paper, and it's, kind of funky, but it's going to work. Now, off camera, I thought I was recording, but I didn't record myself spritzing that background with water. I love that look on Distress Oxide. You just spritz it with a little water bottle, let it set for a minute, and then pick it up with a paper towel. I will show you this on my second background, so stay tuned. Then I wanted to darken this up and really give it a nighttime feel. So I'm just going to go around the edge with a smaller blending brush. This is the shading Sidekick. I'm doing on the outer edges. I'll do all 4 sides with this color, and you can see it really draws your eye in and gives it more of a nighttime vibe, right? Yeah, I love it. Okay, so now we need a little sparkle. This is a nighttime sky, so I'm going to do that, but of course I can't waste this ink on my mat, so I'm picking it up, same piece of paper. It's going to look kind of grungy, but I like it. I like that look. All right, so we'll save that, and here's the sparkle we're adding to the sky, which is Sparkle Silk. This is available in the Spellbinder shop, and I love it because you dip the brush in. It's already got the brush there. You don't have to find a paintbrush. You can just splatter it on. It's super shimmery. It dries pretty fast, but I'm going to set this aside, and we're going to bring back that die set. This is the Bewitched die. It's got this cute cat. So fun. I took a piece of black cardstock and I put some adhesive sheets on the front side of this. So the front of this is going to be sticky because I wanted to make my kitty soft and fuzzy. So this is Flocking from Pink and Maine, and they have it in all different colors. So if you like this soft fuzzy look, you can really do this with so many different colors, and I've played with this quite a bit. So I'm just pouring this onto that sticky side over a folded in half piece of paper. I recommend that you turn off the fan before you do this, but I have an upstairs craft room where it gets the evening sun. It is hot in here, so the fan is always on, between like May and October. And then if you get extra flocking on your desk, try a Swiffer duster. It works so good. So there's my fuzzy little kitty. Isn't that awesome? It looks so good. Now, if you like the flocking, they also have it with glitter in it. I know, stop it, right? So cool. I'll link them for you. Okay, now we've got our accessories and stuff to finish up the kitty. So I'm starting out with the hat, and I'm using some paper from my Paper Insider box that they sent me. It has this Mai Tai cocktail paper that's like this delicious shimmery gold paper. I'm using that for the buckle. I love it. And that die that has the buckle also cuts the kitty's nose. In this same Paper Insider, I've got this lavender glitter paper, and I'm going to do that for the hat band. I originally thought I was going to do a lighter purple, but I felt like this glitter paper goes really well with that saltwater taffy mixed with the purple. It just helps bring that kind of color out from my background. To bring this to life, I really love shading my die cuts. So I'm using this teeny tiny blending brush from the Spellbinder shop. I'm just dusting the edge of these die cuts, and that's going to give them more depth and more interest, and especially darken out those little spots where the hat like dents in. It just looks so good. So these two parts of the hat, one is the front and one is the back. So when you put this on the cat, it looks like the cat is actually wearing it. His little ears are poking out, and you've got that back piece. So you can put that hat high up or low down on the kitty's head. All right, so now it's time to cut out the ears, like the inside of the ears and the nose, and I'm using this kind of lavendery pink cardstock, also from my Paper Insider box. If you're not familiar with Paper Insider, you can sign up to get their boxes, and they send you a curated collection of specialty papers. They're thick cardstocks, glitter papers, mulberry papers, so many, and they list every piece of paper that they sent you and what it's special for, and it's so fun to pull those papers out and use just little bits of them to accentuate your project or create something completely, a whole project with these specialty papers. It's just so fun. They're really good at their job. So I'll link them for you in the description box as well. All right, so now we're putting all the things together, the inside to the ears. I glued the cat down to the back part of the hat, then glued the top part of the hat on, added that glittery hat band, and now the buckle to that with that Mai Tai cocktail paper. I love it. Okay, so here's the eyes. We have 3 different layers for this, and the layer that does the smallest part of the eye also has the whiskers. Now the whiskers have this like weird circle on the end. You're actually going to attach that to the back of the eye. You could probably also attach it to the back of the cat's head, like however you want to do it. This is how I did it. And these eyes have a little bit of a point to them, and the point, according to the package, is supposed to go down and to the outside of the cat's eye. So if your eyes look weird, maybe try that. Now, here's one thing about this die set. I found the nose to be impossibly small. And it got like some flocking on it. My nose is bad. He's been in a fight or something. He's not looking good. So he's going to get a nose job later in this video, and it's going to perk him up quite a bit. Okay, this is my moon. It's a white piece of cardstock that I die cut with a circle die. I'm adding a little bit of one of my most favorite colors, which is Twisted Citron. So good. And then a little bit of black right on the edge, because this moon, it just looks so stark white, and sometimes that's the moon you want. But for my card, I needed it to be a little bit more moody. And I am going around the edge, but I don't want it to be perfect. I want there to be some that kind of comes in across the moon. It gives it kind of a misty vibe if you've got some of that ink there. But just start out with a really light hand. And then if you like where it's going, you could add a second layer with a really light hand and kind of build that color up. Also, the moon's going to look really good with a little bit of splatter on it. That gives it that kind of cratery look. Okay, let's move on to our sentiment. This is like a shimmery cardstock in green. Look at that. Guess where it came from? Yeah, Paper Insider. And then for the letters, I'm going to do black. I back to this cardstock with rip and stick sheets to turn these really thin letters into die cuts. This sentiment, the Happy Halloween, comes in the die set with the cat in that Bewitched die set. So super good. I love that it has a shadow layer. That's always a plus. And yeah, I'm picking out the tiny pieces. Now I'm going to lay all the pieces to the side, and I'm bringing in some full panel shaker pouches. This is a layering size for an A2 card, so it's going to fit my 4" by 5 1/4" panel perfectly. And then when I put this panel onto a card, I'm going to get a border all the way around my A2 sized card. I'll show you. You'll see what I mean when we get to that part. So to attach this panel, I need some double-sided adhesive tape. This is 1/4 of an inch size. It's perfect for these pouches. I just put it on all 4 sides of that background. When I removed the backing off of that tape, I only uncovered 3 sides. And before I stuck this down, I was like, oh my gosh, I wanted to put my moon in there. So I really quick stuck it down to a piece of plastic, and then I'm adding that moon back in. And before I press it down, I'm making sure it is where I want it to be on my card. All right, so now we can attach the shaker pouch. So I'm going to fold up just 3 sides, leaving one side open so I can add in my shaker elements. Remember those glow in the dark stars and moons that I showed you at the beginning. I'm pressing these flaps down with a crease tool so they really take hold of that adhesive. So here's those glow in the dark pieces. I'm going to use some. You can really fill these shakers up, but I want to save some for another card and another time. So I stuck those in, and I'm going to add to it something that I have a lot of, which is the Oh My Stars shaker mix. There are different colored or different sized stars. They are a very mirrored silver color, and they're really flat, so they slide around so nice. I made sure all my shaker bits were laying flat before I flipped it over and pressed down that top piece to keep this closed. I used my crease tool on it again, and there's my shaker. Not too busy, but again, depending on the card you're making, you could really fill this up. Now, anything that I stick on top, I kind of like to add some dry adhesive or tape type adhesive. Here I use that double stick tape again, and then liquid adhesive. That way you can move things around if you need to, but you're going to have the holding effect that, takes effect immediately of the tape, but the long-term hold of the glue. I like the combination. I really like things to adhere well. All right, so now I'm taking the backing off of the back side of this, which again, I just applied that double stick tape, or rip and stick adhesive as it's called, to those flaps again. So that's going to hold it down, and then I need a little bit of liquid adhesive, and you're going to see right here, right now, why it's important to have the liquid adhesive, because I didn't quite get it straight how I wanted. So I was able to pick it up again very carefully and stick it back down. And you can see I have a black border of my A2 size card, which is a 8.5 by 5.5 piece of paper that I scored at 4 1/4 inches, and my layering shaker pouch panel fits on there perfectly. Now it's time to embellish the outside. I have some more stars from my stash. There is a purple one in here. These are kind of faceted, so they peek up at the top like a rhinestone would. And then I have some other colored clay hearts that have purple in them, kind of a lavender color, so they're going to stand out on top of this dark purple background and really tie all the colors together in my card. So I love a little extra embellishment. I mean, this card is already thick because of the full panel shaker, which if you haven't made these before, they kind of pillow open because the air gets in at the top and bottom corners, which allows those shaker bits to scoot and float around. Okay, let's do the nose job. So I die cut another ear piece, and then I cut it down so it was just a portion of that and glued it over the top. My kitty likes his nose so much better a little bit bigger. So you do you with your cat nose, and I'll do mine. But I liked it a little bigger. You remember this panel? This is the one that I picked up all that extra ink off of my mat instead of wasting it. I'm going to use it on the inside of this card because the inside is black. So you either have to write with like a paint pen or a gel pen or something, but I thought it'd be fun to have a little spooky background on the inside. You could easily write with a black pen on top of this. I'm going to add some more of those Oh My Stars to the inside because they're completely flat, so you have a little fun embellishment that's represented on the outside of the card, also on the inside of the card. Very cool. I love it. All right, so there's card number 1. We're going to do a different kind of moonlit background for card number 2, and we're going to use that other die set from the Simon Hurley collection, Boo Crew. So we'll do our background first. I have a piece of masking paper that I die cut from a circle die. I'm going to put this right in the middle towards the top of the paper, and that's going to mask off the moon for me. Now I'm going to do my ink blending. So anywhere that sticker piece is, that masking paper, is going to stay white. So that is going to be my moon. So I'm going to start out with the carved pumpkin, and then I just did a little bit of that. Then I'll bring in the saltwater taffy and blend those two together. Now because I'm blending like the corner Then the next corner, I do bring in my paper towel to dust off my brush. So the next time I go to ink blend a different area, it's going to be pure saltwater taffy without the mix of that orange. And then I can just keep going, cleaning that off as I see fit. And sometimes when you're doing ink blending, it's good to go back and forth between the two colors to really work on that blend. Next, I am bringing in the Villainous Potion. There's a large area at the bottom that needs that color, so I did that first, and just really concentrated that color on the white section before doing any ink blending. Now the upper sections are really small, so I brought in a smaller blending brush, the shading Sidekick, and I'm doing that around that top area. It's covering up a lot of that saltwater taffy, but I'm still blending the two together. So I'm loving how this is turning out. A really fun, different moonlit sky that's got that Halloween vibe. So I'll just keep working on these colors, and I did actually put a little bit of purple around the moon because it gave it that kind of that cloudy, misty vibe. And then the same thing as I did before, I'm coming back with the black. But when I'm doing the very, very edge of a piece of paper like this, sometimes I feel better just to work on my glass mat versus that grip mat that I was doing before, because I need it to slide really easily over the glass. So that's why I took that mat out. But don't worry, I'm not going to waste that excess ink that's on that mat either. I'm going to bring that back, and I'm going to make another background where I pick up all that ink, and it will be the panel that goes on the inside of this card. I really liked that idea. So you can see I've got my little clouds going on there, and then I'm going to mist this with the water. So here you can see what I'm talking about, spraying it with water. That oxide ink reacts to the water, and you're going to be able to pick some of that up. It's going to lighten out those areas, and it just looks so groovy. I'm also going to do that sparkle silk, and I'm doing all of this before removing the mask. But you want to make sure that your paper is dry before you try to remove the mask. If any part of that mask is wet when you try to peel it off, some of it could stick to the paper or even rip up some of your cardstock, and you don't want it to do that. So make sure it's dry before you peel it off. I took my blending brush that had the orange ink on it, that I just went in with a light hand, and then also the black to really lessen the stark white contrast of the edge of the moon, and it gives it more of that misty vibe. It's really subtle, but I like the look of it. Okay, here's that mat with the excess ink. I have another scratch piece of cardstock that I'll use to pick that up, and yeah, this is going to be the background that I use on the inside of this card. A lot more subtle, but I love that splattery goodness there at the bottom. Okay, so let's get our window on there, our shaker panel. That is the layering size, and then inside this one I have a mix of stars and moons and circles and ghosts, because the dice that I'm using is ghosts, so I think this is perfect for this shaker mix. So everything is laying flat. I'm going to hold that down and take off that adhesive. I actually ripped the whole thing off, so I had to put a second piece of that adhesive on there, and then press that down with a crease tool so it really sticks in place. Also, you can, if you get your embellishments from Trinity Stamps, they come in a bag, you can use their tidy tray to put them into these little containers. The little containers fit in these large trays, and then I have a little storage shelf for these. It's really nice. So there's my little storage tip for you. And now let's get back to the card. We have a ghost here. I'm picking this one with a smiley face. I'm going to give him some glasses. I'm going to give him a bow tie. I love that there's so many elements that you can do here to build your own ghost. Now, there are some pieces in here that look kind of weird. That goes on the back of the ghost face. It's like a layering piece, so it looks like your ghost is three-dimensional. There's, like sheet hanging behind it, as it should look. Okay, so let's die cut all these things out. We've got a face piece that's by itself. That's the one that goes with the pumpkin. Also, with the glasses, there's little tiny circles. Those are the cheeks for your ghost, because all ghosts should have little smiley pink cheeks. All right, so there he is with that face piece glued behind him. Now the face pieces that go in the back, there's 3 on one die to go with each of the 3 ghosts. So that's why it is different than the pumpkin one. The 3 that go together are for the 3 ghosts. The one that's separate is for the pumpkin, and they all fit perfectly. All right, so I dusted this, giving him a little interest and dimension with just the ink left over on my brush that is used for black soot, and that is just a really light gray. without adding anything to it, and I can use that without having to pull out a new ink. So love that. All right, so I added this. You can put it flush with the bottom, but I liked it where it was offset and hanging down just a little bit. Love that dimension. Then he's got some hands, and he's definitely going to need hands because I'm going to have him holding a little pumpkin candy bucket. And then we'll just glue these on so they fit however you want. You can angle them a little bit different on each ghost for a different look. So that is super cute. Dust those with a little bit of ink, and then he needs his glasses, which are too cute for words. I love them. So we'll use some tweezers for these tiny pieces. It's really helpful, or a pickup tool. Having the right tools makes everything so much easier. So remember this paper I used for the hat on the cat and the little hat band? I'm going to use this for the bow tie. It's that, you know, lavender pink glitter paper from my Paper Insider box. And then it also had this gorgeous glitter paper, this dark purple, in the same box. And so I thought I would do my pumpkin with that. And then there's a little piece that makes the handle. It's the cutest. However, I did not actually like this pumpkin on the front of my card. It just didn't stick out enough. It kind of got lost with the purple background. So I decided the one on the cover needed to have an orange pumpkin. So I die cut that, but I gave it a little bit of zhuzhing up with some ink. So I did carved pumpkin and then a little bit of rustic hinge there on the bottom with my smaller blending brushes to really give this a little bit of interest, so it wasn't just plain. I added the black piece on the back and the black handle. But that glitter paper, I still loved it, so I did that for my sentiment. The shadow layers is what I cut from that purple glitter paper, and then the letters are going to be white, and they're going to pop up so beautifully off of that glitter paper. And then I'll glue these down to my card. I love that the boo to you is individual words, so if you wanted it to go stacked like I'm going to do, you can do that. If you wanted them all side by side, you could do that too. So boo to you. It's just a really cute and fun Halloween card. Doesn't have to be spooky, it can be super cute, and I love that about making Halloween cards. The colors are fun. You can really make some cute things. So I'll add my little ghost there at the bottom, and then there's his bucket of candy. So fun, and it looks like he's holding it in his little hand there. We'll add this to our card base. Again, I use the layering pouches. These pouches also come full size, so you can have it where the edge of your card doesn't show at all, but I love that dark black. All right, now these stars, there's open like outline of stars and little tiny stars. These actually glow in the dark too. I had a really hard time getting even a picture of them glowing or video of them glowing. So just trust me that these do glow as well, a little more subtle than the white ones, but I love them. So I added those in various places on the front, brought back that ink blended panel for the inside, and I am not going to waste that purple candy bucket. That's going to go on the inside too for something cute there. So there is my second Moonlit Halloween card. They're both shakers. They're both cute Halloween cards. I had so much fun making these. If you're interested in these die sets from Spellbinders, they're linked for you below, part of the new Simon Hurley collection. And I think they're really fun. Super cute to dress them up. Right? Okay, thank you so much for stopping by and letting me share these cards with you. If you love shaker cards, you should definitely check out my Facebook group, which is called Shaker Card Addicts. It is over on Facebook. You can search that name, you'll find it, and then you can come see other people's shaker card creations and videos, and even share shaker cards that you make with us. We would love it. So thank you so much for watching. I will be back again soon with another paper crafting video very soon. Until then, happy stamping. Bye.